Okay, so here's the deal. Just this past week, I had a wonderful visit with this sharp 23-year-old university student, and we actually got talking at the fitness center first of all, and he started asking some questions about life, purpose, and all, and so I went out for coffee with him, and I started to share with him some of the things I learned from somebody's book. And it was so unbelievable, our conversation. And sharp guy asking all the right questions at 23. And he described it to me like this, that he felt like he was a log on a river. And he was just stuck floating. And he couldn't change his destiny. And I couldn't help but think that a lot of people feel like that. And so whether it's the book referred to earlier, okay, Soul Craving, or his latest, you know, this beautiful book, Wide Awake, this young student began to get wide awake because he realized it wasn't fatalistic after all.
Yeah, but that's how so many of us feel. I mean, because you're in the current, and sometimes you are just trying to survive and keep your head above the water. So you don't feel like you've got any control of what's going on.
Well, you know, when we talked about intrinsic needs, these cravings we have, not only do we have this craving for love and intimacy and for meaning and to try to make sense of life, but every one of us have this intrinsic need to believe our lives actually matter, that we have a destiny, that we're supposed to accomplish something with our lives. In fact, there's something really unique about being human. When you don't believe the future can be better than the present or the past, you move toward despair and your life begins to fall apart. Your soul feels empty.
Yeah, it's interesting because in discussing this, I actually painted a picture of what his future could look like if he wasn't thinking fatalistic. I talked about, he says, I don't like my job and I want to get back to school and finish up because I want to be this, I want to be that. I said, those are good goals. But I said, how long are you going to work in this job right now? And he said, well, about likely 6 or 8 more months. I said, so you're going to spend the next 6 or 8 months hating this? I said, why don't you, well, no, seriously. I said, why don't you take the next 6 or 8 months and try to make a difference in those underlings, the people that report to you that you really dislike right now, so that they start talking about you. He says, oh, wow. I said, yeah, because your destiny, you may need to be there to talk to one of those kids and help them realize that their life matters too.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, the problem with the word destiny. It's such a big word. Now, I like the word destiny, but it's such a big word. It feels like you have to wake up and become Gandhi or be, you know, Mandela.
Mother Teresa.
You know, or
I'm dreaming. I'm Michael
Bono,
Jordan.
you know? And the reality is that we don't all have to wake up tomorrow and be the most heroic person the world's ever seen, but we can make heroic choices every day to do something that matters, to make someone else's life better. The moment we start focusing on making the lives of others better, our life gets better.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I've said this for years. You haven't begun to live. Listen close. You haven't begun to live your life until you begin living your life for other people. Then it really makes sense, you know. So.
It was Viktor Frankl when he was studying why those Jews who were trapped in the Holocaust and the concentration camps, why some of them were able to survive the horrific oppression and others simply just died by losing their spirit. And he found the ones who had the resilience to survive imagined there was still something they had to accomplish in the world. It didn't even have to be significant. It could have been, I need to go take care of my vegetable garden, or I have to be at my granddaughter's birthday party. But as long as you have a sense that I have to do something in the future, there's a reason I need to exist because this must be done, you actually find the strength and the resolve to make it through all the crises and all the problems of life.
The future, we've got to have a future and a hope. I always think of the slavery back in the time in the South of they wrote these incredible spirituals because it was all about something that they thought was beyond what they were enduring now.
Yeah, and there's this tension though, because if the only hope you have is what happens after you die, this could be a pretty miserable existence while you're living here.
Yeah, and that in itself is fatalistic, right? Yeah. That in itself is fatalistic. I can just tolerate the 70, 80 years I have here and then, oh, there's glory, whatever. But it's interesting because you talk about the hero and calling the hero like that you're here for a purpose. Destiny may be strong, but you actually have something you're supposed to accomplish. Talk about the hero for a minute.
If you go inside of our house, I have all these movie posters, you know, Gladiator, Braveheart, Last Samurai.
Okay, I love all 3 of those.
And in fact, one day my wife said, wait a minute, why is it that every movie you love, the wife of the hero has to die brutally before he becomes a hero? I don't know, this is Marriage Uncensored. We can talk about anything here. No. And the reason we're drawn to films like that, the reason we're drawn to stories like that is because all of us have this longing that our lives could matter also. That we could somehow make a difference too.
And you know what? Your life does matter. We're trying to help you in this whole desire thing. What's going on inside you? Why are you here? What's your purpose? You know, we're going to talk about how that plays out in relationships in the next segment. You stay with us. Thanks.
The cravings that we have are, in a sense, they're anthropological. They're true for all of us. So every human being has a need to be loved, for meaning, for destiny. Every one of us are trying to figure out how to connect, how to make sense of life, and you know, how to find something to do that matters. And so if you're going to have a great marriage, you have to care about helping the person in your life find the fulfillment of those desires. You don't have to be the solution to those needs. You have to be a partner in helping them find the solution to those needs.